They erased me with a click. That was all it took. One sterile conference call. A dozen familiar faces boxed on a screen, their voices clipped, rehearsed, hollow. HR read my name like it was a smudge on glass. "Your contributions were valuable once," she said, "but irrelevant now." And then my screen went black. Access revoked. My years of labor buried under a polite dismissal. I sat in the dark office of my own home, staring at the ghostly reflection on the glass. Not my face. A void where a face should be. They thought they'd buried me, but they forgot one thing. My name wasn't just on the payroll. It was on the patent. The first patent. The one their entire empire was balanced on like a trembling blade. I said nothing. I didn't beg. I didn't even breathe differently. I only watched the seconds tick by on the bottom corner of my monitor. 60 days. That was how long my non-compete lasted. They thought silence meant surrender. It meant calculation. For weeks, I moved through my days like a ghost. Neighbors asked how I was. I smiled. My wife asked if I'd start interviewing again. I nodded. Inside, I seethed in quiet increments. Every product they shipped carried a piece of me. Every press release was a theft wrapped in glossy marketing. My invention, my signature, paraded around without acknowledgement. Worse than being fired was the indifference. They didn't even remember my role. They thought my work was obsolete, disposable, forgettable. That was the betrayal. Not the severance, not the insult. The deliberate erasure of my existence. But erasure leaves traces. Patents are forever. And I knew something they didn't. The foundation of their $500 million product line was anchored by a single clause. My clause. My name embedded in government records they couldn't touch no matter how many lawyers they hired. They thought I was finished, but I was counting days. Each morning I logged the countdown in my notebook. 1 line per day. Black ink. Neat, controlled. I studied them from the shadows. Quarterly reports, stock fluctuations, supply chain whispers. I knew exactly how much they made from my invention. I knew how fragile their pipeline was. I mapped everything. Their dependencies, their distributors, their investors. Quietly, surgically. Meanwhile, I played my role. The silent casualty. The man licking his wounds. I let them believe I was broken. Inside, I sharpened every edge of my anger into precision. Day 47. I contacted a lawyer. He smiled when I laid the documents in front of him. "They don't know what's coming," he said. Day 52. I heard one of their executives on a podcast laughing about innovation. He said my name wrong, as if it barely registered in his memory. Day 59. I didn't sleep. My pen hovered over the last line of my notebook. One more day. Day 61 arrived with silence. I sat at my desk at 9 a.m., coffee untouched, when the email draft became a letterhead. My lawyer's words were exact, merciless. Cease and desist. My signature closed it. My name, the one they erased, stamped itself back into their world like a scar they couldn't remove. By noon, production halted. Machines shut down. Distributors froze shipments. Customers flooded hotlines with anger. I didn't call them. I didn't need to. Their panic was a language I understood without hearing it. Inside their boardroom, I imagined the faces that had once dismissed me, now pale with disbelief. Someone must have said, "How did we forget?" I pictured their silence. The same silence they left me with. Only now, it was theirs. The first call from them came on day 63. I let it ring. On day 64, they offered a settlement. Too small. I declined without a word. By day 67, their stock had cratered. 47 million gone in a week. On day 69, the CEO himself left a voicemail. His voice shook when he said my name, finally pronounced correctly. He begged to make things right. I deleted it. They wanted negotiation. What I gave them was absence. Sometimes silence is louder than rage. Sometimes ignoring someone is the sharpest blade. I walk past their headquarters now and see the empty lobby, the darkened windows. Their empire is a hollow shell, echoing with their own arrogance. They thought they were gods of industry. They forgot the man who built the altar. I don't feel pity. I don't feel triumph. Just clarity. They tried to erase me. All I did was return the favor. The final irony? My name will outlive theirs. Etched not in headlines, not in money, but in silence. A silence they can never escape.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.